woman. Do I even need to say it? Turning pain into power. I'm 15 by the way. Yes, a teenager. And as we are talking about pain today, before any millennial invalidates our problem, stop right there. How do you girls even portray our life? एक तरफ तो बड़े हो गए हो, कुछ तो करो, और दूसरी तरफ अभी तो तुम्हारी उम्र ही क्या है, तुमने दुनिया देखी ही क्या है, तुम्हें क्या परेशानी? Let me tell you, we do face real concerns. 13 to 19. We want everybody to like us. We want whom we like to like us. And at mine, we are still recovering from what our best friend told us 2 days back. Just now she was here, my best friend. Well, having a close best friend is not always about rainbows and sunshine, huh? Because if she doesn't like anyone, even I have to be picky about it. You know, this one time she did not talk to me for 2 days straight. But then yet again, we are best friends. How can we go without talking? So we made it work and we became closer than ever. And that is how we turned up a little storm into cozy sunshine. But being 15 is not always about little storms. We have had our fair share of problems. Coping up with puberty, studies, and then not feeling validated in our own thoughts and emotions. Life, it's stressful. But what defines you is how well you rise up after falling. Gen Z. Our way of life is different. We live in the real world and not the real world. And don't lie, we are all obsessed with these. But do you remember the last time you adored yourself without filters? Because I too don't. If somebody asks me for a photo, my first reaction is, hold up, let me find a filter. Because our brains are now channelized to view this perfect life of celebrities to make everything perfect. We often forget that broken is beautiful until one of those who says you're not perfect, who says you're not worth it, who says you're the only one that's hurting, songs come out. But to put this in words is not that simple, because we're at one end. Social media is the only platform which validates our opinion. Somehow it is also the cause of our lower self-esteem. From the past few years, we've been comparing ourselves with those pretty girls with nails done, perfect bodies and catfished faces. Those muscular guys with veins popping, putting up gym fees with Doja Cat playing in the background. This has affected us so much that, I'm not saying this, according to data, 7 out of every 10 high school girls have gaslighted themselves of not having a perfect body. 40% of teenager boys have joined gym because they don't feel confident enough without muscle. And you know what all this has resulted to? 75% of teenagers with body image issues get involved in negative activities such as smoking, drinking, and eating disorders. I want everybody to understand that even if we have acne, tummy rolls, hip dips, or dark circles, doesn't mean we need to be fixed. We are humans, and this is what our body looks like. But I got to say that Gen Z have some real strength, because we have the social media with us. Social media teaching us exactly when to approach where to seek help. We have therapy pages putting up positive, appreciative, and relatable content. And now, let's skip to the good part. 75% of teenagers with body image issues do recover it through their own means. Not only that, social media, it also helps us in putting forward our opinion on literally anything. We talk about gender, sexuality, people, government, and life in general. And this is how my generation turns their sufferings into their strength. Well, while talking about strength, how many of you enjoy cycling? Yeah, we all love cycling now. You know, my 2020 New Year's resolution was to go cycling every day. But then COVID came. And it's not going back down. And I've always been lazy. Because human tendency. When you get everything you want, you become lazy, right? You procrastinate. And I've been blessed with everything in my life. I want to put some fingertips. But not everybody is blessed with such a lifestyle. And for some, COVID-19 made it worse. Besides being economically disrupted, we were emotionally disrupted too. COVID changed to us how we live our life. It altered our daily routine, social pressure, financial expenses, isolation and everything. You know, major increase in the symptoms of stress, anxiety and depression were seen. But who could have thought of such a pandemic about 3 years back? Nobody. No one was prepared. Neither physically nor mentally. And then we come to realize that nothing is permanent except for change. And the only thing to carry throughout life is hope. Okay, so now you know my dad used to tell me that Himandri, hope is the cure. And never let your past affect you because it's always a life lesson and never the life sentence. She inspires me the most. Because she herself has turned bitter trudges of her life into a beautiful journey. Here's a story. It was 1981 when a 9-year-old kid lost his father. And that kid was my dad. My daddy was left with an empty pocket, a shabby little room, no job, and 4 kids to raise. Just imagine her plight. But had it been that she kept gripping on her past, she could have been trapped in it forever. The lack of education couldn't get her a well-paid job, and she did not want the same for her children. So even when she was cold and shivering while the hail struck the land of Uttarakhand, she would climb up into the depths of forest to cut wood and sell it in the market. You know, they say when life throws lemons at you, make lemonades. But what if life throws watermelons? What if life throws stones, bricks? What if life throws people and buildings at you? You can't put everything inside the jar, the mixer jar, right? So what shall you do? Here is the solution. You should invent such a grinder which would fit in everything. Now just imagine, can this invention, metaphorically, be called turning your pony self into a superhero? I guess it could. Okay, now that I've mentioned superhero, my Gen Z soul wants me to ask you, how many of you are a fan of Marvel, Spider-Man? And how many of you believe in superheroes? Yes. Marvels में ज़्यादा हाथ ऊपर गए लेकिन superheroes में कम गए. This is not fine, ना? Because superheroes is not only limited to Marvels. Like although they have the trademark to it, but superheroes are made up with heroism. And what is heroism? It is fortitude. It's waking up in the morning knowing that everything will be fine. And even if something goes wrong, we'll make it fine and we'll come back stronger. Okay, so my dad once told me, actually he scolded me, that Himandri, to achieve something, you have to move. Himandri, move! Do something! Be productive! He told me to be productive. So to inspire me as I was procrastinating, he shared with me the story of one of his friends, Captain Sangwan. Captain Satyendra Sangwan. And if you know, he has achieved several medals in badminton and athletics, representing India on an international level. He has also worked in ONGC and conquered the Mount Everest by leading his troop. But here's a twist. He did all this with an amputated leg. He lost his leg in the Kargil War of 1999. Yet his bravura, courage, spirit and achievements post the war, had him receive the National Award for being a role model for the society. You know what he said? That while he signed up to be in the military, the Indian Army, he signed up to sacrifice his whole body for the country. And that he pities the enemy that they could only take his one leg away from him. He truly caused a ripple in what could have been a stagnant sea. Okay, now that you look into my life, everybody around me is a source of inspiration, isn't it? But some days I just feel like the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. Now don't try and portray in front of me that you never cried yourself to sleep before boards. I did that because maths and science, chemistry and physics. And wait, what is up with the surface area and volume? My friend Raju just wanted a glass of water, but now he has to find its volume. If I had to do that now, I would stop drinking water. Okay, but this is not the solution, right? So I'm trying everyone. I'm starting to validate my math sums and I'm starting to practice maths every day. I'm finally starting to understand those pi r square thetas and 1/3 pi r square theta which used to float on the board of our classroom. I'm finally turning my math struggle into a strength. Because, I believe it's a process. Actually, everything around us is a process. Even getting powerful is a process. It's the process of healing. It's the process of analyzing the problem and preparing to work on it. Because nobody skyrockets to be a pop star. Somewhere, a few years back, even they were bathroom singers. So at the end, it comes down to this question. Now you have to decide whether you want to hug the pain and be the victim of your story, or you want to rise up and be the victor of your story. Shalom. Thank you everyone. Have a great day.